Hi, I'm Rob King and welcome to the 1 Gallon Brewing channel. So this is brew number 11 or brew 11, which actually was a type of beer I used to drink when I first started frequenting pubs, which is the topic for today, which is a beer that I first got introduced to when I was very young. It was the most common drink at the time, and it was a dark mild. Now, it's sort of a mild is a session ale, so it's lighter in ABV. Something I didn't actually know at the time, and hence it does explain the reason why I could go out on the lash, drink 10 pints of beer, roll home and then get up for work or school the following morning. Little did I know that actually it was quite a low alcohol beer. That still doesn't change my reputation at the time, which nobody else realised this point either. So mild has definitely got a personal history for me, and something that with this brew I'm hoping I can reproduce what those rose-tinted memories of a pint of mild tasted like. Mild does have quite a long history, but not actually as a sort of classification of beer, if you like. Sort of having a look when I was sort of researching the recipe, the history does go all the way back to the 18th century, where mild was referred to really as younger beers, as opposed to some of the older beers, which would sour a little at the time. So the sweetness of the sort of mild beer sort of came through. By the 19th century, that term had actually started to describe exactly that, which was younger beers. And actually, it was only the 1960s that mild started to sort of come into decline. And in the UK anyway, mild started to sort of fall back and bitter started to be the drink of choice. Now, by the time I started drinking in the 80s, it had actually all but sort of died out. And the sort of last holdouts were exactly where I was living, which was sort of areas of the Midlands and areas of the North. By the 1990s, it had all but gone. And that's what I remember too. It just simply was not available anymore. You just could not find it. Yet it was a drink of choice all the way up until that point. So it's a very sad loss. The only place I think I've ever seen mild in the years since is the occasional beer festival. And I can't say I can really remember exactly what those tastes were like. But I do, as I say, have a very strong memory of what I think they used to taste like. So this is going to be a scaled down brew. So this is a brew that actually started on one of the websites. I'll reference it in the link or somewhere, and actually as a 19-litre brew. Now, I'm actually sort of more interested in brewing at a much smaller scale in the kitchen with my saucepans, and actually sort of producing a sort of more lower volume, sort of in the region of 4.5 litres to 5 litres. Now, I have some data about what this brew should look like. So a typical dark mild should come in with an ABV between 3 and 3.8%. It should have an original gravity in the region of 1.030 to 1.038, and a final gravity in the region 1.008 to 1.013. And carbonation is pretty darned low. For those working in CO2 units or volumes, it's 0.75 to 1.5. So it's pretty low, pretty low carbonation. And how I remember this in practice is almost a sweet, very malty ale. Actually sort of perhaps the thing I remember the most is definitely the creamy tan head that you sort of get with it. And how we reproduce that in a home brewing context is through our choice of grain and yeast and hops. So the yeast of choice in this instance is going to be the Safe Ale s11e01, which I've used before. I have to say this is not one of my favourite yeasts to use, mostly because the temperature in the house tends to be outside of the normal optimum temperature range for Syphoning s11e01. And the closest I can get to being right at the top of that range is by leaving my brew under the stairs, which is the coolest place I can find in the house. But, you know, I've also had some good successes with Syphoning s11e04. So despite my moaning about the temperature, it's a good yeast. Thinking then about the grains, and actually the grains really contribute to the taste of a mild. So you've got a typical pale malt base, and that gives you your malty flavours. But then you also have a crystal malt, and the crystal malt in brewing terms is what's going to give this beer more of its sweetness. And sort of to describe the sort of purpose of a crystal malt, it adds sweetness, adds mouthfeel, and also adds head foam. All of these things are things I remember quite a lot about a mild. Now the amount of crystal malt is quite low, so that's going to be interesting to sort of see exactly, you know, is that something, if I do a version 2, crystal malt is something that I need to sort of up. But the dark colours that come through, that particularly come through on a mild, actually sort of referred to often as mahogany, almost ruby colours, actually sort of comes from the 2 malts. The first is a chocolate malt, which, you know, definitely adds the caramel and sort of chocolate flavours and aromas. And then there's a black patent malt, only a small amount of this one. This has a very, very black colour, you know, really contributes to the colour of the beer rather than particularly strong flavours. And then finally, the choice of hops is the Fuggles hops. Now, I've actually bought for the very first time some leaf hops. So I've got some leaf Fuggles hops to get out of the packet and sort of play with as part of this brew. I'm looking forward to that as well. So we've got sort of some Fuggles leaf hops to use, and Fuggles actually sort of described as adding a sort of earthy and woody flavour. Again, that really complements what my memories of the sort of very malty taste that comes along with this brew. So fingers crossed, all of those things seem to be ticking the right boxes when it comes to this brew. So a few brewing notes, if you like. One of the things that makes a mild is the slightly higher than usual mash temperature. And the reason for this is because of the relatively low ABV, you want to actually sort of get hold of more of the non-fermentable sugars out of the grain. And so the slightly higher mash temperature that we're going to use as part of this will generate more of those sugars and hopefully give more of those sweeter flavors into the drink. The second thing I've got to sort of really look out for, because I do have a bit of a reputation and history of missing my original gravities by a mile and actually sort of shooting over them. So drinks are coming out much higher ABV, much higher original gravities than I planned. This one I am going to watch much more carefully. If necessary, I will dilute it down a bit, but we'll see. You know, hopefully we've got all of the things right, and this one will be, you know, sort of spot on in terms of the original gravity. But I'm not looking for a strong beer. I want those flavours to come through. Finally, you know, sort of one of the things that I've been working on is the volume of liquid as part of the boil. So I have calculated on one of the previous brews that I do lose around 20% of liquid during the boil. So, you know, this time I'm upping the volume of liquid just a smidge. So I should be coming out with a volume in the region of 4.5 to 5 litres. So I'm, you know, sort of with the sparge and the mash water, I'm putting 6 litres in. I'm hoping to get 5 litres out, give or take a little bit. Again, something I'm still working on in terms of calculating that liquid volume for my kitchen setup of, you know, 2 saucepans. And that's it. That's all of the plans sort of set out for the the dark English mild. I am so looking forward to this one. As I say, it's got a personal touch because I really remember this. I'm looking forward to sharing this with some of the family members who also remember this drink, or not telling them about this if it fails abysmally. In the meantime, that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Brew Day.